Alright everybody, we are back for the semifinals of the 2012 West Virginia State Championship. Excuse me. So we are in for a treat here. One of our top four competitors has not been on the feature match table today, so we have a brand new deck that we can show everybody. I've actually talked with the guy, I actually know the gentleman who's playing it, so we've talked a little bit about it. It should be very interesting. Maybe not as interesting as the 5-color control deck we just saw. I did confirm with Kazu that he is playing 5 because there is a red splash for Desolate Lighthouse and Nicole Bolas. And if you're going to splash for a red card, it should be Nicole Bolas, right? So on the left, let me get this advertisement out of the way there. I apologize for that. But on the left, we have Aaron McGlothlin. I need to confirm if that's how he spells his name. And he is playing Bant Aggro. And then he is playing John Tatta. John Tatta played, I believe, in the third round with his Jund ramp deck. Very interesting matchup here. Here's basically going to be the beatdown. It's a green-white deck, splashing blue for basically Geist and I think Snapcaster Mage. I'm not entirely sure about that, but the main blue splash is for Geist of St. Traft. John running a Jund deck with basically every good green, red, and black card in it. A heavy removal suite, a Thragtusk main, a Huntmaster of the Fells main. We are confirming, his name is Kenneth, he goes by Aaron. That part I knew. I don't know if I spelled it correctly. I did. So,
when
he didn't capitalize the G. I will make that change. But, so, that's the opposite of what I wanted to do.
You were close.
So this should be exciting. We are down to, as a quick reset, 11 o'clock this morning, almost 9 hours ago. We started with 79 participants, only 6 less than last year. 79 runners competing for bragging rights as the 2012 West Virginia State Magic Champion. Now 7 rounds of Swiss later and 1 quarterfinal round of the top 8 in the books. We are left with 4 competitors in this quarterfinal. Aaron McGlothlin playing Bant Aggro versus John Tatta playing Jund, as we've told you before. In the other matchup, we have Hunter Sumter playing Golgari Zombies, who we just saw defeat maybe the most interesting deck in the tournament, Kazu Nigri's 5-color control deck, featuring Mana Bloom. I know you have to go look it up, but you'll feel better when you do. So Hunter Sumter is playing Brandon Hodge, who sat in commentary for rounds 6 and 7. He is playing a very aggressive Rakdos Zombies list. So, the two aggro, the two beatdown decks are in one side of the bracket. One of the mid-range decks is in the other side. So, and more importantly, 4 separate archetypes in the top 4. That's what we like to see. So, very interesting. We've had a very good time here today. Brett, what do you think?
I think it's been a very long day, but there's been a lot of interest.
We've seen a lot of good Magic. We've been pretty fortunate. We've had a lot of variety on the feature match table, and even the decks that we have seen that share cards have been very different in their construction. And there have been some pretty epic matches. We've seen a couple top decks for the win. We've seen some very non-competitive games because we've seen some whitewashes.
Sure.
We haven't really seen any. Most importantly, we haven't really seen any mistakes. A lot of people ask me after the match if we caught them making any mistakes. Haven't seen too many of those.
Very few.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it's just been which line of action is the right one, and
there is no right answer most of the time, but there is usually a good, better, best line. But we've been pretty fortunate tonight. Not too many. There's a lot of drama going on with the die roll. I believe
the die hit John's hand up in the fall.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's what that was.
That sucks.
Just for clarification, we're doing a standard tournament here.
Yeah, 2012 states, just like every state and provincial tournament, is a standard event. This is game 1 of the semifinal match. We will need to... I'm sorry, I can't stop coughing.
Those are some good-looking sleeves Aaron has there. I say that because I'm pretty sure they're dragon sleeve.
We will. I'll have to I say this mostly to remind myself, but we will probably have to speak a little bit softer. There are not too many people left in the venue. As John mulls over his keep here, we will mention that of the final 4 remaining competitors, we have 1 representative from Hometown Hobbies in Huntington. We have 2 representatives from Lost Legion Games, 1 from Beckley and 1 from South Charleston. And John Tatta is representing 4 Horsemen Games and Comics. Is it 4 Horsemen Games and Comics or 4 Horsemen Comics? It's 4 Horsemen in Morgantown, West Virginia. So good to see a lot of different groups making an appearance.
Okay, so it looks like Aaron started off with a turn 1 Manador.
Which immediately gets Mortars. Mortared.
Is that a shock line?
Is that a shot? Was it? Yeah, it's okay. Oh yeah, I apologize. I think Sweet Borderland Ranger. Well, I can tell you 3 turns in, this is not how Aaron drew it up. Aaron's is the only, and again, we do not have access to deck lists for these rounds because the players are using the deck lists as part of the top 8, so they have them at the table. But I'm not entirely sure what Aaron's list is, but I can tell you he probably does not want to be this far behind this early in the game.
Are they allowed to reference the list in-game?
No, they have a set period of time to review them while sideboarding and while prior to the match. But there we see Geist saying Traft. Not nearly as good in this situation since John is not a traditional control deck and does have a lot of creatures which can get in the way. But and there we see on curve Olivia. Aaron's gonna have to do something about that very quickly. The Fiend Hunter he just drew will probably answer it nicely.
Swings in here. Sorry about that, our camera seemed to have got bumped a touch.
It happens. So we see Selesnya Charm pump the Geist, take out the Olivia. You see John there very smartly double blocking, just in case there is some kind of combat trick that he doesn't get blown out there.
And there was trick.
There was a trick.
Yeah.
Seemed pretty obvious, considering that Aaron was suiciding his guy in. So
that angel got in there.
the angel did get in there, dropping John to 16. He swings back with the Borderland Ranger, and then casts. Is that Rakdos Return?
Yes. So he just has to discard most of his hand.
I can't bring it up. I can't find it in the card database. I was going to look up Rakdos Return. I'm not sure.
Currently,
Did he discard 2 or 3 cards to it?
3. It's another Geist out there. No, we haven't seen. Well, I haven't seen any or that many land activations. A few Gavonys here and there, but other than that, not much.
So we see the same trick out of Aaron, getting in with the with the Geist, pumping his Geist with the Selesnya Charm. But after that Rakdos return, he's down to 1 card in hand, so at this stage of the game, every card off the top of John's deck is going to be likely more powerful than Aaron's. What was that he just played? Did you see what it was he just played there? I'm not familiar with that card. Oh, that's Watchwolf.
Yeah.
It's the Call of the Conclave?
Call of the Conclave.
Which means he is likely playing Snapcaster Mage.
With the scoop.
Yep. Yeah, John was facing down 9 power on board at 8 life. Top of his deck did not help him out. So, first game in the books for Aaron McGlothlin. He moves up 1 game on John Tatta. Trying to remember, again, we do not have access to the, as you can see why we don't have access to the deck list, because they are currently in the possession of the players who need them much more than we do. I'm trying to remember, we've not seen Aaron's deck on camera today. The one time it came up, his pairing came up, he was not quite ready for camera, he said, so we haven't seen him.
Well, we're glad that he decided to do it this time.
No, he said later on he would do it, but early in the tournament, I think it was round 2 or 3, he decided to opt out. So I can't fault him. I have no problem with anyone turning me down, but so I'm not familiar with his deck at all because we never had his deck list previously. Now we've seen John's deck list before, and you can see him flail through his sideboard. There looks like a couple Dreadbores coming in. Looked like another Sever the Bloodline coming in. All I remember about his deck was that there was a lot of removal and 1 copy of Vraska, and Vraska does not seem to be very good in this matchup.
Yeah.
It does not interact well with Geist of St. Traft, so...
Most of the removal doesn't either.
I'm not sure, was he playing 1 Magma Quake? He might have been playing a Magma Quake.
He may have. That would actually...
Which would be good in this matchup. But I think his best way of interacting with the Geist is just the creature route.
Yeah.
Just bring him more dudes that will block it.
And hope he doesn't have the charms.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We've seen a lot of value derived from Selesnya Charm today. Starting with game 1, both players in our round 1, not game 1, round 1 of this tournament. Both players were on green-white, and both players got a hefty use out of Selesnya Charm.
Just showing that all of the charms are just really carry their own weight, you know.
Alright, so just trying to finalize.
Looks like John's deciding what to take out here. Whenever you're sideboard, what's your normal route? Do you put everything in that you want to go in and take out things?
Oh, you're talking about mechanically, whether I jam all 15 cards in my sideboard in?
Because that's what some people do.
Fundamentally, if you want to get right down to it, the same thing with making sure every basic land in your deck matches. You know, there is a small edge to be gained from that. In the same way, there is an edge to be gained by jamming your entire sideboard into your deck and then stripping the 15 cards you want out down.
Sure.
The problem with this is I think most people don't give pro players enough credit to recognize that that's a skill that not everyone I think can pull off, especially if you're trying to use some kind of notes or you're unfamiliar with what you want to sideboard with. A lot of times you can inadvertently leave cards in that you don't want to. I think for newer players the best approach is to just one-for-one it and
hope your opponent's not counting.
Yeah, and to be quite honest, the edge that you lose by letting them know exactly what you're bringing in is relatively small. Now, when they have copy of your deck list and they bring in only 3 cards and they have 3 copies of card that hoses you, then you know exactly how they sideboarded. There is advantage to that, so it's more of a...
Of course, if you have a card that hoses you, then you just know it's coming in.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I think John's deck has 2 or 3 copies of Underworld Dreams, and if he only brought in 2 or 3 cards against a control deck, then it would be very likely that they would know, okay, that's that one card, or they can respond accordingly. But my answer is I just take the cards out that I want to take out and try to be somewhat less than obvious about it. I think if you want to split the difference, the best thing to do is to just put your entire sideboard on your deck, and then just, filter cards in and out so they can't really see how many are coming in and how many are going out. But again, we're splitting hairs here.
Yeah.
None of us are playing at such a high level, or at least none of us in the booth, and I would imagine very few of our viewers are playing so frequently at such a high level where something like that's really going to...
Not going to matter anytime soon. Well, I was just curious. I figured I'd ask.
Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting thing. It's something that I don't think, I think a lot of players might see someone do on a Pro Tour coverage and wonder why they do that versus something else.
Mm-hmm.
It's those little edges,
Yeah. And sometimes it just helps a person think.
Mm-hmm. So,
Getting a little scared back here in the booth.
Mm-hmm. There's some commentary in the chat about, excuse me, I'm falling apart.
Man, you're an old man.
I am an old man. So,
Blood Crypt.
John leads with an untapped, or a tapped Blood Crypt. So, Twitch Aaron responds with a tapped Hallowed Fountain. Although Aaron's Hallowed Fountain is from Ravnica, so of course
makes it $5 more.
Of course, it does tap for twice as much mana. Right?
Oh, does it also do that?
So he brought in Duress. Interesting. So let's take a look at his hand here. And John, like a good player, is writing everything down. So while he spills it out, we'll see what he has. We see a Sunpetal Grove, 2 Sunpetal Groves, Hinterland Harbor, a Gavony Township, Selesnya Charm, which he will be taking, a Geist of St. Traft, and an Avacyn's Pilgrim. I think that's probably why John brought in the Duresses for the Selesnya Charm, and I think he's perfectly happy to trade his Duress for the Selesnya Charm.
Sure.
I think he'd gladly give up a slot in the early game to keep those combo tricks, or to those tricks down.
So what are we hoping to see on this turn here?
The Borderland Ranger is usually what he wants to cast on 3.
And he gets it.
John's deck is playing a lot of lands, and all he wants to do is make sure he doesn't miss those land drop. The longer the game goes, the better John's deck is.
So this deck really just gives some answers early on and on the sideboard.
Mm-hmm. So, let's see what
comes on.
Yeah, so he's got the Geist that we know he has, so he's likely going to play that. I'm not sure he has any other cards in his hand that are not... Well, it looks like there's a blue card in there, but most of his cards are lands in hand. He can Township next turn. Make his Geist a 3/3, which is not irrelevant.
The Flyers at 5/5. That's not bad at all.
Mm-hmm. see Olivia yet again. So another one turn clock for Aaron to deal with him before she starts getting big. Oh, the township will also have the benefit now of saving his Avacyn's Pilgrim.
Sure.
So we see the same block that he offered in the previous game. This time he has drawn another Selesnya Charm. That charm is doing a lot of work today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Bird, or the angel gets in there for 4.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I should update the score, shouldn't I? And there we see, this is the same game we saw in the first. This is a
Slightly different mana base.
turn 3, Borderland Ranger, turn 4, Olivia, turn 5,
Rakdos return.
Rakdos return, which I would love to bring up and show everyone, but for whatever reason I cannot spell it correctly. If anyone knows how it's spelled.
I think Rakdos owns the return.
Yes, there we go.
Rakdos does in fact own his return.
As we see Aaron
Discarding his handler.
mm-hmm. Seems like a pretty good card. I'm not sure it's worth the pre-order prices that it was seeing. Seems like it's just a one-of in these decks, but
Did it
very strong.
Did it get up to 15?
Yeah, it did. Give or take. So. Sorry. We're getting more grief because John, like Vince Smith in previous rounds, is a lands above permanence guy.
Well, I don't believe there's a rule against putting your lands above your creatures.
No, but there's a social contract that I feel like that people should adhere to.
Now that I know that it bothers so many people, I believe that's how I'm going to play Magic.
All right, from now on, all we're going to do lands so far up. Lands actually on the other person's playmat.
Exactly.
All
I'm going
right.
to put them on top of my
Why stop?
library.
Why stop there? Lands on a different table.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. I will admit it's annoying. I don't like it, but
Yeah, I don't like it
there's
either.
no reason why you should be upset. One thing that's very annoying, I don't know if you've run into this before, is that sometimes people will play cards behind their deck. As you see, like John has his graveyard behind his deck, they'll actually put cards back there.
I do that for exiled cards.
No, I'm talking about cards in play, land, stuff like that.
That's just hiding your cards and cheating.
I don't necessarily know if it's exactly cheating, but it is very annoying.
You got a Huntmaster in the order.
Yep. So John's in a great shape here. I mean, Aaron is not pleased with that.
That land.
Yeah.
Huntmaster flips, does 2 to him.
Yeah, and then he'll do the rest of it as he attacks in. So we are on to game 3. Very exciting stuff here. Aaron will be on the play, which means he will be able to cast his Geist on turn 2. And likely get in for 6 damage ahead of any 3-drop that John lands, but that's of course only if he runs perfect and draws that. But
That's exactly what we want to see.
you know, we're back
running perfect.
We are back up to a smooth Hundy on the stream. 99 people are watching currently, and after, like I said, 9 hours of coverage today, 7 rounds, 2 top 8 rounds for a total of 9, with 1 more to come. We definitely appreciate everybody checking this out. I hope everyone got to play in their own state championships today. We've had a lot of fun here, and I think that's probably mimicked around the country. Looks like we have a result from the zombie mirror. And Hunter Sumter has defeated 2-1? 2-0, 2-1? 2-0. So Hunter Sumter defeats Brandon Hodge in the other semifinal, meaning he and his Golgari zombie deck will be facing off against the winner of this match in the championship. Hunter, 10th in 2010, 8th in 2011, no worse than 2nd in 2012. Best of luck to him.
Owns the world in 2013?
Yeah, run for president.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually elect the president in 2013, but I'm not going to let them stop him.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Hunter. Best of luck to him in the finals. Also, congratulations to Brandon Hodge. He did sit in here with us for round 6 and 7 as guest commentary, and we did deck tech with him. His deck is very fun. If you like aggressive beatdown decks, then Rakdos Zombies is probably for you. Would have liked to see exactly how that played out. Hunter's deck has a little bit more reach. It does play a lot with trolls. It does play drag manglers, but Brandon's deck does have the potential to be very, very quick and just overwhelm. So, congratulations to him on a deep run. There's now the chat archive, or the chat stream, has devolved into this giant discussion of what's the best griefer tactic when it comes to land and permanent placement. Somebody suggested that they put their cards in various lines around the playmat with their deck right in the middle. There are people who play like that. I'm not making that up. There are people who put their deck square in the middle of their playmat.
Why didn't no one tell me this when I was learning to play Magic?
That is the worst. Because hopefully, because you don't have a bunch of jerk friends that are trying to get you hated by the greater Magic community. Just put the deck on one side or the other. Put your permanents in 2 straight lines. Permanents up top, lands on the bottom. Put your graveyard next to your library. And put your exile zone wherever else.
Your exiles in the closest trash can you can no longer use.
And I know that it's opinion based. I know there's no right answer to that. So everyone is more than welcome to have their opinion. It's just that their opinion is wrong if it's different from what I just described. Very simple.
Sure. Looks like John already has his hand to be played.
Yeah, John kept on 7. Aaron going down to 6. He is on the play this round, or this game. So that mulligan is a little bit more painful than normal. Is that 5? Did he mold a 5? Did I miss? No, he molded a 6. It's difficult for me to make out what this card. I can't see a lot of lands. I do see a Hinterland Harbor, and a Glacial Fortress, and a Gavony Township. So it looks like one of the problems with Kenneth's deck, or Aaron's deck rather, is that mana base is a little greedy. We have seen a lot of lands come into play tapped. So, nothing out of the aggro deck for the first 2 turns. We see a Farseek out of John. And we've seen every time he gets to 4 mana in this match, he has cast Olivia. Every time he's got to 5 mana, he has cast Rakdos Return. So,
seems good.
Not missing a land drop is something that John's deck rewards him for heavily. And there we see a Geist, maybe a turn too late to be truly relevant. But let's see what we have out of John. It's not an Olivia, but it is a Huntmaster of the Fells. So, 4 power dudes, gain 2 life. More importantly, provide a blocker that prevents the Geist from getting in there. You know, this deck resembles a lot of the old Delver decks, where instead of equipment or Spectral Flight, you're just using the Selesnya Charm.
Sure.
We've seen this before.
I don't see why Pike can't find its way back in there.
Mm-hmm.
He just trades with Huntmaster and takes 4.
Yeah, because he has 2 more in his hand. So, drops John to 18. John could not get his creatures in front of that Geist quick enough. John has clearly has either played this matchup before or had this matchup in mind when putting his deck together for the event. He seems well prepared for all aggro decks. I can't remember who played on the camera in an earlier round, but I think he did drop that game to an aggressive deck. But with a start like he's having here, it's going to be very difficult for him to lose this one.
You know what we never got to view on here? Esper tokens.
We did not see Esper tokens. I don't know how many of those were in the field today. I know that's the deck that you're currently piloting in Standard, but and it did have good results last week at the TCG 5K in Hartford, but have not seen that today.
That was something I had really hoped for.
There are a few underrepresented archetypes, at least in terms of our feature coverage, but can't get them all on camera.
Maybe next time.
So, 4 lands in a township, plus a Geist Sustain Traft for Aaron, squares off against 5 lands, a wolf token, and a Thragtusk, now that's joined by a Wolf Run. I'm not sure what's going on. There's a judge call here. They did call for a judge. I'm not sure the judges are here. So we have called for a judge here. I'm not sure what's going on exactly. It looks like the judge... Oh, there he is.
They're coming through the door now.
He was simply out in the hallway. As one of our judges is one of our shop managers, he's has a lot of caps on today. A lot of hats on today, I should say. So, I'm not sure exactly what they're sorting out. So, see if I can get anybody's attention.
The people standing around aren't quite sure either.
The person whose attention I was able to get without screaming is not watching the game close enough. It's alright, don't worry about it. I don't want to get you. I think he's still looking for Tom. He's looking for Tom.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So, I think we're looking for the head judge now to resolve whatever dispute we have.
We'll find out. Ah.
Oh, John did? This guy? Oh, okay. Okay, so we have just got clarification from one of the gentlemen watching the match that Aaron apparently forgot to draw a card during his turn. Okay. So we are waiting for the head judge to come back from... I think he is temporarily detained. But we have a brief pause in the game while we sort out the issue. Aaron apparently did not draw a... It's funny when when there's a break in the action, this room gets a lot louder.
It sure does.
But we'll get this. Someone asking why they don't why they bothered to call the judge and why did they just let him draw the card. Well, that is a quick solution to this problem. Unfortunately, at this level of competition, those kind of mistakes need to be sorted out by the judge, just to make sure that there's no unseeming activity. In this case, it's very rare that anyone's trying to game the system. There's no real advantage to be had, but they like to be consistent and make sure that all issues like this are taken care of by a judge.
So we saw it earlier. A young man milled too many cards, and he issued a warning for it. Do you think they'll do the same here?
Yeah, this just seems to be a warning. You can back up the game state pretty easily. I don't see why you would. I don't see why you'd have an issue with this.
Sure.
If you watched our previous rounds, we did have a couple of just generally sloppy mistakes. I've talked with the player who made them. He admitted that they were, or he suggested that they were sloppy, so I don't feel bad using that term, but they're pretty liberal in their I think the ruling is that they can't back up. If you miss something like that, you just miss it. Once John draws his card, I think the ability to restore that game state is gone. So
Well,
it is on everybody to keep track of their own game state. So while that's unfortunate, it is part of the game. So John's in a really good spot here. We see him land yet another Huntmaster.
up a card, gaining all life in the world.
Yeah, with the Wolf Run active and a Thragtusk. Aaron Townships. He has a land and a Cyclonic Rift in his hand. He is 1 mana away from being able to cast it. The player's laughing about whether or not Aaron drew a card this time. He did confirm he did draw a card. So unless something drastic happens here, it looks like John Tatta will be our second finals competitor, facing Hunter Sumter.
They're asking in chat what exactly the verdict was.
Yeah, the verdict was just a warning for missing the warning for game rules violation, warning for failure to maintain game state.
And a lost draw.
Yeah, they do lose the draw because you can't back up. I'm not sure if John got a warning actually, because I'm not sure it's on him at that point to catch that mistake. But just a warning, which is good. What we like to see.
There's also a question why we aren't doing Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, I just saw that. As the day goes along, we get more and more tired, and as a result, more and more reserved, and the chat gets more and more loopy.
Yes.
Gets a little bit more sophomoric in there. Yeah, so we're going to rift a wolf token here. It's unfortunate that's what he can do. Pardon? 6. Can. Overload Rift is 7, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, one of the other bystanders was asking how many lands Aaron has. He cannot cast the Rift. And there's the handshake. John Tatta and his Jund ramp deck advance to the finals to square off with Hunter Sumter.
In the finals.
Yes. All of the other players from the Morgantown shop more happy about that win apparently than than John himself. For all the reserved celebration from him, not nearly as much from his cohorts there. But anyway, congratulations to John Tatta, piloting his Jund ramp deck to at least a second place performance here at 2012 West Virginia States. He will square off against Hunter Sumter, as we've mentioned before. On this, his second consecutive top 8 performance and third consecutive top 10 performance. And while I will remain unbiased in my critique of these games and in coverage, I will have to admit it would be a pretty rewarding story to see Hunter finally close the deal on one of these.
Oh, definitely.
But he's definitely up against it. As John's deck is very solidly put together, has a very good matchup with these aggressive decks, and has been piloted superbly by John himself. So, should make for pretty interesting Magic here as we round out our coverage of West Virginia State